This is me on my first Twitch. Hello, hello. Hello, everyone. This is my first Twitch, so I'm a bit excited. My name is Roy Cass. I'm a front-end tech lead. I'm also a hardcore gamer. I love 4X space games in general. I know I basically own almost all of them, like Stellaris, Endless Space, Star Drive, Galactic Civilization, Sword of the Stars, Galactic Space Empires, and Distant Worlds are less my style, but Interspell Space, Stars in Shadow are coming close to my real love, which is Master of Orion 2. It's a game from 1996. It's relatively fast-paced. It has a precise feature selection, and most of all, it has an idea of being heroes of anti-magic in space, which is basically the right vision, in my opinion, about 4X space games. It's about the turn-based tactical combat. This is like the epic, the climax of all your efforts, being in the turn-based tactical combat and fighting the enemy with the tech you have researched and beating him with the counters you have to offer to his technologies. So, being a front-end developer myself, I took a course in Unity, which is not my domain, but it's somehow similar because there are UI UX issues and ideas there. And I also use some free to use code, such as Project Caprica, and the Udemy course I did offers turn-based combat code. And right now I'm developing my own game just for fun. Obviously all rights reserved, but I want to invite you on the journey of developing it with me. I already made some significant progress at the start, and I'll do some much more hopefully with you on my side. So this is how it goes. I'll show you the the game, which is like the main game for me. It's Master of Orion 2. I'll go through the game itself, like the UI, the UX of it, the ideas that are important, the feel of the game. I'll play a little bit to show you the ropes around it. And then on the next session, maybe I'll show you a few more games that I take as an inspiration. And on the next session, we'll dive through into the code I've done and discuss how to do it. So basically, this is Master of Orion 2. I'm starting a new game. So this is very common in most of the space games. It's about basically having the difficulty settings, the galaxy size, the age of the universe that tells you if there are more mineral-rich planets or more life-supporting planets, the number of players, which in this case will all be computers except me, and the tech level, which can be changed. Tech level is like the earliest is pre-warp, before you research all the interstellar travel technologies. Then you have an average technology, which is you get a colony ship and 2 scouts to start the game. Then there's post-warp and advanced, which leap you forward a bit in the technology tree, and you have more ships and sometimes more colonies. But usually, like this is for very fast games, and this is the usual ones. Now that said, Master of Orion 2 has a relatively fast pace, as I said, because if you play Stellaris, which is not even turn-based, if I remember correctly, then it's kind of real-time with pause. Then basically you can finish this game in a few hundred turns, which are not that much. We're talking about just a few hours, maybe 2, 3, 4 hours. It's not that long for a 4X game. Obviously, if we'll do this and you go with much less players, then you'll finish much quicker. But this is like the average setting I take for my games. Obviously, tactical combat, random events is all kinds of events that happen that can change. Like you can have your research computers touch with a virus. They can be a huge amoeba flying to your planet and infecting it. There can be a space dragon that you have to pay for in order for not attacking you and attacking another player. All these sorts of things, they can be actually good events, like your planet's getting richer in minerals, or like having more like agriculture on your planet, or some benefactor gives you gold and stuff like that. And the Antarans are an extra-dimensional ancient race that fought the Orion race, which is now completely extinct. And they start entering the game at about turn 150, and they start with smaller ships, and then they move to bigger ships. They can be a real threat in the mid game. Late game, not so much, because you get technologies that can really decimate them. So I'll start. The next stuff, you just select a race. This is also common. In Master of Orion 2, the races are animal inspired, so you have some kind of bear, the Burathi. They're really good with ground combat. You have the Darloks, which are good in spying. You have the Illyrians, which are telepathic, which means they can take mind control over planets, basically, if you have a large enough ship. And also they're good with space combat, and they're omniscient, which means they can see the entire galaxy without scouting it. Like in general, like with Fog of War, basically they don't know exactly what's there. They know the type of the planet. They know if it's, I think, if there's a space animal there, a space monster there, something like that. Nolems are good with basically money. Humans are good with the democracy is very potent selection. It gives you more money and more research, and also races assimilate faster. They're also charismatic, so they're good with diplomacy. Clackers are an industrial race, which is a hive-like. That means they have unification. Unification is the productive counterpart of democracy, which means you have more food, you have more production, but you assimilate races slower. You also, unlike democracy, has some penalty for spying. Then unification has like for spying counter spies, which means they're called agents, and Klakens have some bonus for that. This is good, very influential early on in the game, which you encounter alien races and have to defend yourself. Mechlars are another kind of variant of productive race. They have cybernetic, which means they eat a bit less food, but they also require production units to work. Dictatorship means that it's like the 0 points government. We'll see later on what that means. They're very good at production. Marashan are an offensive race, basically very high on ship offense, and warlords. They're not such a good pick for early game. So yeah, our Illyrians are just like races you would pick for a very fast game, usually advanced civilizations and stuff. Cylons are very good with science. They have low gravity, which means they are basically worse than normal planets. They have like a minus 25% on everything there, and they're also creative, which really like gives you a much wider selection in the tech area. Sakara are the fast productive race, so they are a bit they're good with food. The subterranean, which is an amazing feat that increases your planets by 2, like for considerations of populations, so you can put much more population on your planet. Feudal, by the way, is the worst kind of government. It really hampers your research, and also, but it gives you a very interesting benefit in production of ships. So it's like a very interesting choice. It's a -4 selection. We'll see soon enough because I'll produce a race of my own. Silicoids are the most, like we'll say, they eat rocks basically. They grow in their population slower because they have a penalty, and they're tolerant, which means that every planet they treat as Terran, which makes them excellent colonizers, but each colony will grow very slowly. Repulsive means you can talk to other races. This is a popular choice when playing multiplayer games. It's also a popular choice if you're playing single player because it has a very effective minus. We'll see just in a bit why is that important. Tyrellians are an aquatic race, which basically means it's like another alternative to subterranean. They can have more population on non-dry planets, which means I think it's ocean planets, swamp planets, and tundra planets, and Terran and Gaia, obviously. I think they treat everything except Gaia as Terran or something like that. Anyway, we'll choose custom, and we'll produce a race. And we'll start with a production race. We'll choose tolerant. Tolerant also has the incredible ability of not dealing with pollution. Pollution is a huge penalty of production, which is very, very bad. We'll take unification. and we'll take a small production bonus and a large world. Okay, so this basically creates a very interesting production rate. It means they have more food, they have considerably much more production because unification gives you 50% food in production, and let's see, and a large homeworld, which means it can have more basically colonists on it. Like the usual minus points, you have like once you selected more than 10, I have selected 20 bonuses because tolerant alone is 10. Then you have to work out the additional nerfs. So basically it's repulsive, which makes you completely unable to talk to other races and gives you much worse leaders, if any, and you assimilate very slowly, okay? Like if you conquer a race, you assimilate them very slowly. And also ship defense and ground combat. These are very popular choices for the minuses. I'll type my name, and we'll do like this color. We'll take Chrysalon, which is the home of the silicoids. And first of all, there are like advanced methods in the game to accelerate your growth. So first you refit the scouts. Shit, that was a mistake. I'll do it again. You clear the scouts with a laser and no computer. Skipping the laser basically gives you your scouts a chance to escape monsters early on. So I fucked one scout up, but he will be just fine. And now I'll also introduce the colony base. The most important thing about Master of Orion 2 is having a solid foundation of population. Once you have a solid foundation of population, you just like rocket up the game. It completely changes the equation. So basically we move everything to production. We need to have our first colony bases on, and research. We need to research the research laboratory, but it won't be research until we put some people on it. So we just keep a few turns. We have a scout now. We can move basically to two planets. This one, we leave the colony ship here, and you see this is a turn summary. It's very important to have a turn summary in some way in my game. And also I want to talk about the UX so far. So we have a galaxy map, we have the stars here, we can go into the planet itself, and we can move the workers between the different categories. You have food production, you have industry production, and you have scientists that create science points. The most important thing is what you produce. You have a queue here. I want you to see how like this is a huge overlay, which is very, very wasteful. Basically, there's a big list here and the list of your ship designs here, and you have a description here, cost and picture here, and a queue here, and some actions here. I think this can be like minified much more, but we'll see about that. So that said, we'll just skip another turn. So now we have the other scout. The most important thing is to start early expansions, so I'm scouting the best planets. Red planets are usually have like poor chance of supporting lives, and they have they're not that good. Okay, basically the best planets are the yellow ones. if I remember, and maybe orange. Yeah. But the whole, like, in space games, okay? There are like two ways of dealing with travel. There's a huge debate about what is the most effective one. There are star lanes, which basically are connecting the star systems like nodes in a tree with lines, and you can only traverse on those lines. This brings you more choke point control. You can like build a certain node that will protect the red because it effectively blocks them. And also it really hampers the idea of space being free range, because the other way is using parsecs, which means all nodes are connected basically, and you can travel from everywhere to everywhere as long as you have the right fuel amount on your ships. So this is what Master of Orion 2 does. The new Master of Orion, which is also called Master of Orion 4 because we don't speak about the third one, which was called Disappointment of the Year for a just reason. It was basically an Excel spreadsheet. So the fourth one, which is like a reboot of actually the first Master of Orion, which has all the right ideas, I think, but in a less polished way, made basically, in my opinion, two major mistakes. First, they used star lanes, which really reduces the amount of options you have, because it's much more sophisticated to defend your territory from several directions, not taking star lanes into consideration. And also, it completely dumped the turn-based tactical combat and used pause, like a real-time pause system, which obliterates the idea of Master of Orion being Heroes of Might and Magic in space. So it was a really bad decision, in my opinion, which created a very mediocre game. Those two decisions, it was like a 6-7 out of 10 reboot, in my opinion. The graphics were really nice, and the atmosphere was right, but still, it didn't have the right spirit in it. Okay, so now I'm moving to the red planets because this is a parsec unit, so you can see, like, if I'll take the colony ship, it has, ooh, I missed an orange star here. I'll need to scout it. So it can't go beyond 3 parsecs. Okay, 4 parsecs, we're done. We can't go there. 3 is the maximum. This is because this is the current fuel technology I have. Okay, so I'm skipping a turn. Right now, I reach the planet. This is a space monster, which is an eel. It's one of the considerably easier ones, but I can't defeat it with a scout. It defends a really good planet, a huge swamp, which is a wet planet, which is good for my aquatic, but I'm not aquatic then, so it doesn't really matter. But it has a lot of population, it's rich, and it has gold deposits. Gold deposits just add plus 10 BC per turn, which is very, very good for the beginning. One more. Let's see. Let's take this one and move it towards the orange planet and see if we didn't miss anything else. Okay, no other planets. This is just a demo, so it's really important for me not to win this, but to show you how I play the game and what's the idea around it. Okay, everything's in order. Let's progress. Okay, so again, a planet with gem deposits on the start, but the problem is it's a toxic planet. Toxic planets cannot be terraformed, and they basically have higher maintenance costs, which mean a lot in the beginning. But then again, it has gem deposits, so it makes most of the maintenance costs, not really important for the start of the game. And it has a nice population, 8. The amount of population is actually big because I'm a tolerant species, but it's not the best choice because it can't even you can't produce food on toxic planets. It's an option for us. Okay, we can consider that. There's also a gas giant. Gas giants are uninhabitable. Later in the game, there's a very high level tech that usually you don't choose because you have other better options, but sometimes it's a good choice, depends on the situation, which basically you can construct a planet out of gas planets and meteor rings. It's interesting. And also a very small, poor, low G ocean planet. Races which are not low G gain plus 25 penalty on their every operation they do on a low G planet, so it sucks. So I'll just wait for the orange planet and then hopefully I'll move my colony ship here or here. We'll see. Right now I'm constructing my first colony base, which is really important. And I choose a planet. So basically I have a selection, a radiant planet which does not produce food, with abundant resources, and 8 population. You can see the abundant resources create 4 industry, while the rich radiated, which is smaller, creates 6 industry. In the beginning of the game, having a rich planet is important. In the end of the game, only the rich planets can create the largest vessels fast enough. So it's important to have a rich planet, and I'm taking it. Also, radiated planets can be terraformed under certain conditions. We'll see. We'll see a bit later. So this is the animation for colonizing a planet. It also gives you all the details. It's a very nice start. Also, every planet in Master of Orion 2 has this landscape. You can see the radiated planet has like a lava style landscape, which is really nice. The skies are always black with stars. It's always night on Master of Orion 2 for some reason. So right now I have Priceland 2. This is a very nice amount of production. I'm getting this because this is a rich planet. I have the +1 production bonus, and I have unification, which gives me +3 in addition, which is very good. And now the real stuff to do is actually have housing. Now this game has some kind of interesting mechanism, that makes the most effective planets in terms of population production with housing. Housing produces population basically. If I don't do the housing, okay, you can see here I'm minus 10k because this planet has no food and I don't have freighters. I'll explain that mechanism in a second. So basically if I do this, it bumps really nicely to 134k, which is a relatively high number of reducing population. The idea here is flooding my planets with a lot of population, like really constructing a population early on, because population means you can produce more, you can research more, you can make more food, stuff like that. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. So the best planets in terms of producing population are with just one colony, with one population. Each of those represent 1 million. You can see 1000k, okay? And every time you lose population, they drop. They drop until the planet is empty, basically. So if the planet is starvated for some reason, or blockaded and you can't move food to it, there are many layers in this game and many features that actually create this system of decisions you need to make in order for everything to operate correctly. But it's not that deep. Like there are no civilian rights here. Like if you create androids, they have no they're not slaves or whatever. They have other limitations, but those limitations are set. Like the depth of civilian rights are not included in this game. For example, they cut it out. They didn't develop it, and also it's a very old game. So it's simplified, and that's what makes this game a very fast-paced game, but also a very interesting game, because every mechanism can be understood in a very simple manner in the end. Okay, you have all the numbers, you have all the calculations, you can just figure it out. So obviously it takes time to understand the optimal path to everything. There are guides for it, but it's still complex enough in order to be an interesting game, but simple enough in order to make it fast-paced and well-polished. And this is what I like about this game. So basically we have a base here. It has a problem with food, but because we're housing, it just like bypasses that problem. They make more units than they lose. And also we have the main planet creating a freighter fleet. Freighter fleets move colonists and food. So there are two very important things. Moving population between planets is a very effective method of investing with the most important planets first. Okay? Okay. Let's see now. Checking my chat for a second. That's great. Okay, so basically we're not going to use the colony ship in Chrysalon because that's our home planet, that's our home system. We're gonna use it in another system. So we're waiting for that orange star. Basically we have no more systems to investigate, so we'll just keep a few turns. Okay, so now we got the freighter fleet. You can see we're not short on food anymore. We're progressing here. And also we can see once we reach this. Okay, so we have an average tundra planet. It's a very nice planet, but I think the toxic one with the gold deposits is better. We'll just go to this one. Yeah, it also has 2 planets here, so we can build a colony base, which is, I think, a better decision. Okay, so another decision of because of the system here of parsecs is taking into consideration the next stars you're going to explore. So these stars, for example, are 8 parsecs away. They're pretty far. If I would colonize this system, okay, they're 8 parsecs from my home system. They'll be closer. Okay, these are 3, 2. So these are 6 in every direction, I guess. We'll see. But if we'll take this one, I guess we'll have 3 planets available. On the other hand, we can just research a good technology that would give us these stars, or we can use an outpost ship. This is a concern for later on. I'm still taking the system I can get the most of in the beginning. So, colony base, housing. We're going to colonize this one. Let's progress. Okay, so the toxic planet with the gem deposits, the best. Excellent. Okay, we'll just keep the name. We don't. It's nice you can rename the planets. I used to have a method that I put the first planet, the first star system as home, and every other system as colony 1, colony 2. It gives you a chronological order of your systems. It's also information for the enemy if you're playing against multiplayer players, like human players and not computer players, so it's something to take in mind. I'll start by housing because I need more people here to produce a colony base. You can see that we have less industry produced each turn here because it's not a rich planet, so it changes. Really, rich planets are very important for the start. Also for the late game, rich planets are the best. So I have the research laboratory here, but I'm not researching it yet because I don't have anyone on research. This is a very advanced method, by the way. I took a lot of time until I discovered it. A lot of times you just keep like most of them for the research lab, but it's mostly preserved for tech races in this methodology. So now I have tonned. I'm trying to see. Oh, I can actually explore these planets. Okay, so I'll take this one and this one, and we'll see. Let's see what's the status here. Okay. Well, we're saving money for the last colony base because then we just can bump it in real fast. Okay. The best turn to buy anything is once you have half of the, like you can see here, just a second, in the planet. Okay, there is a number here. Number says 160 out of 200. Actually, the best time to buy the colony base would be when it's 100, half of the production units required to build a colony base. But I didn't have any money then, so it wasn't really available then, and now it would just be a waste. It would just save me one turn, so it's a waste. Okay. A lot of games, by the way, have this ability of speed buying stuff. It really expands the the strategical depth of the game, because basically you can just buy stuff fast enough and then progress fast. Like you can, if you have a lot of gold, a lot of BC, you can just build a planet really fast, like a very ultra rich planet or something like that, put it online real fast, move a lot of colonists into it, and then it becomes something much stronger than you would have to just wait all the turns to build a planet slowly. And it's a very important technique in late games. Also, in early games, if you buy it correctly, you benefit from the speed because it's a non-linear progression towards the planet development. Okay, so now I see radiated 8 population and abundant, and barren 13 population and poor. This is an okay system. We'll see. Can we take this one? No. Too bad. Okay. So, a colony base, the second one. We'll take this one. I'm taking the planets according to their benefit to me. The first one, the best, and then going downwards in their advantages. Okay. So now we'll probably wait 2 turns and try to buy this one. You can see my food dropped to -1. This means I have much more population, which is off-world. You can see no world can produce farming except my home world, Chrysler 3. So I'm moving more people to the farmers section. It's kind of funny because these people can be like professors of science, and yet they can be like dumb farmers or union production workers. Can go either way with a click of a mouse. Okay, so I'm still waiting for this, by the way, to have 2 colonies. You can see 2 populations, and then I can start erecting the second colony base here. Okay, so this is a brown star with nothing on it. There's some systems with nothing on them. Okay, we can produce the colony base, and now we just move everything except one to science, and we have a colony ship built. Now the colony ship is actually not going to be built. it's going to stack up the production. Um, Master of Orion has this system where if you switch your production item, you don't lose any production. The production is saved. So basically, if I'm building a colony ship, building it for years, okay? Basically, every turn here is a year, and then I just switch it with another ship or structure, then I get that structure super fast. And that's the key of banking production units. And you can see I got another population here, so I'm moving it to the home planet for research. I need that research facility. It takes a bit of time, but we'll get there. In the beginning, everything moves like in some fashion slower, and in some fashions a bit faster, because every choice really matters. Okay, this is the last colony based on Crystal Prime, and we'll be housing this as well. So this is a very nice fighter pilot. So I'll reject him for now, and I'll explain to you why. Master of Orion 2 has a system of leaders. There are colony leaders and there are ship officers. Actually, a lot of games use that like separation. Like the ones who are better at colony management and the ones who are better at ship officers. In some cases you can switch, in some cases you can build more generic heroes, but mostly it's split. Now, first of all, I want you to consider that this game has leaders, okay? It's not only about the masses, the farmer on the colony, or the researcher, the anonymous ones, okay? This is about certain individuals that excel, and they give you some huge bonuses in some cases, and in my case, which I'm repulsive, it gives me a very minor bonus. This, if I'll get him to be on my side, okay, then I'll get a +5 defense and offense on all fighters of the fleet he's in. Now, I'm going to use this leader much later on, and I have 30 turns to hire him. And every turn, first I have to pay 30 BC to have him, and every turn is in my custody, in my employment, okay, I need to pay 1 BC. So basically, I don't want to do it. I want to extend the time I own that 1 BC per turn as much as possible. So the smartest thing to do would be to hire him on turn 29. The problem is I'll probably forget it. So I'll check here a few turns, every few turns, to see what's the status, and then I'll probably hire him mid to 2/3 of the way. Okay. So we don't have any colony leaders, and we might end up the entire game without a colony leader because we're repulsive. Also, you can see I have a -1 on food. So again, I need to move people to food, and the reason for that is we have an additional 1 million colonists on Tond. So now I'll make a colony base. You can see 17 turns. It's not that little, not that short, but we'll make it. Okay, so still 12 turns. Okay, better. We got another population here. Okay. Let's see what's the status. So every few turns I check this screen. This screen is very, very powerful. Okay, I can manage like moving colonists from a colony to a colony. I can do a lot of things with this screen. So now you can see I'm a -1 freighter, okay? So I'll need to build another freighter. Now this is a junction which, well, I need to decide in what do I do. If I build another freighter, that means a certain planet will not be starving. One of these planets is slightly starving, but I'm housing all my planets except this one, so they're not losing any significant portion of the population. They're just growing slower. I think I'll absorb that for a little while because I want the research facility really fast. Okay, another one. Nice. Okay, so now we have enough money to construct the colony base on Tond, which is really important. Let's see. You can see it's close to 100. This is the optimal time to buy it. Okay, so now at this point, okay, I have all my colony bases filled up. Now my next mission is to have the basic buildings for every colony here. Okay, the basic buildings are a research facility and a factory, basically. So now, right now, I'm banking again with the colony ship. Okay, let's bank a bit and see where it gets us. We're still -1 because we have Tond here. That's what it is. Okay, we're losing food. This is beginning to be a problem. So right now I'll create a freighter fleet. That's the situation. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not sure I need it because I have 2 more colonists here. Okay, so you can see I'm slightly approaching 20. 20 is the maximum for this planet. And then I'll start raising another planet to its max. Probably the rich one. Okay, so this is the research laboratory. Now I'm doing reinforced hull. You can see, let's talk about this screen, okay? A lot of tech trees are presented actually like a tree, like a graph, okay? They usually originate from the center or from the left and then progress to several domains. This is a much simplified version. It has 8 categories. Each category has a set list of every phase in it, and it has, you can see every technology with a right click. Okay, this one increases the ship's combat speed by 5. Basically, it's a very good technology. But there's like a build, a starters list, where you can just pick the technologies in a certain order until some point where it doesn't matter that much. It's not unified that much, and then it becomes more situational. Okay, so basically here, for example, okay, in this phase, if I'll take reinforced hull, which is triples the structural integrity of the ship, basically adds HP to the ship, making it beefier, and the bigger the ship is, the more HP it will have. Basically, it's the right choice, but then again, if I'll pick fighter base, then I could place interceptors on ships, and interceptors don't mind much about computers and can really punch through ships early on. So this is a very interesting choice to make in the beginning, for example, and it will have that choice again once we get to the biology part. I'll show you. But right now I'll take the traditional choice of reinforced hull, and I want you to think about like the text screen, because it's a very simple text screen. It doesn't have the graph. It has the flashiness of like marked out nodes that you already researched, and bonus nodes, and doesn't show you prerequisites. Like, you don't have multiple prerequisites to a certain node. It's always like linear on the same category. Okay, if you did the previous tech, you can do the next tech. That's the way it works. Much more simplified, but then again, it still has complexity because you have 8 categories, and every time you research a technology, okay, the price goes up. Okay, so right now it's 80, and the price goes up to I think 250 the next one, or 150, we'll see. But it it accumulates really fast. Okay, in the end, it's every technology gets to 10,000 RP, which is a lot. So you can't just progress a single category for the long run early on in the game, because you'll get stuck. You don't get that much RP in the beginning, so you have to like optimize the path. And again, this is like a very nice complexity, which is created by very simple tools, and yet offers the complexity you need to have your choices hard. And also, because we're not creative, which is a benefit that costs a lot of points, it costs 8 points to be creative, and it's a very controversial pick to choose for a race when you construct it. Then we can just pick one category, one item from each phase of each category. That means that we can't go back to it. The only way to get fighter base, if I research reinforced hull, is through spying, or through diplomatic relations, which I don't have because I'm repulsive. Okay, so IS is repulsive, can't talk to other races except declaring war and peace. That's it. So reinforced hull. Okay, let's see, our planets are okay. We have another population here. That's great. We're keeping our freight as -1, that's manageable. Okay, let's see now. Okay. So we're producing here. Everything is in order. Okay, so reinforced hull is a very cheap technology. Now, also, this is one of the hardest choices, okay? Automated factories is what we need to have. We can't pick another one. But heavy armor triples the armor, and also counter is a very dangerous ability for armor penetration, which the most earliest weapon you have, the lasers. Once they get upgraded, I'll talk about it a bit later, they can penetrate armor. That means that instead of hitting the armor, they hit the structure of the ship. And they can decimate a ship really fast just because of that. So heavy armor negates it. It also triples your armor. So basically it keeps you very well protected. And it's much better in that sense from reinforced hull. But because we can't pick only one, we can't pick it. Also, planetary missile bases are an amazing protection, especially for early to mid game. See how this is so sophisticated, because you have such like hard choices to make, okay? And you have to make them early on in the game, and they will change everything, because automated factories really change everything. They have a huge production value. Okay, so I'm moving. I got this. I'll move it straight to food. Yeah. And let's progress. Wait, we have made research labs and didn't produce them. That's a very big mistake, actually. Let's create research labs all over the place. Now we can see I'm making research labs everywhere. I want to have them as fast as I can, basically. As fast as I can. Here's the colony ship. I've been preserving research points with it, production points, and you can see it's completely done. I'll move this one here so it will manufacture the research lab faster. And now I'll just send a few colonists here and there. This will give me a small penalty of losing colonists here and there, but I want to finish this as fast as possible. I won't actually lose colonists. Just like not actual millions, just a few. Okay, so continuing with another colony ship here. I'll stretch it 1 or 2 more turns. It's painful, but it has to be done. Okay, 1 more turn. See, 30. Close to 30. I'll buy this one as well. Move. And this one as well. We'll move everything back to Chryslon. And here. That's it. And everything I can do. Housing. Here we are. Back to housing. Okay. Let's go for it. Okay, so now our research is huge. As you can see, much better than before. This is a very interesting technique because you can have in Master of Orion 2 your entire research from a certain phase done only by automated facilities. Like the research facility, you have a supercomputer, then you have an auto lab, then you have another one much later in the game. So they produce a certain amount of research points, and they also give you a bonus for the researches. So you can see here, if I click it, so it researches, it generates 5 points, and each scientist produces +1 point of research. So you can see here, just by having the research lab on this planet, we're gaining 14 more RPs. Okay, and in each planet, even the smallest, most insignificant planet like this one, okay, is still giving us 5 RPs, which are a lot for the beginning. So this is how you propel yourself. You construct the research facility, you construct the automated facility, the factory, and then you have like the solid foundations to start. Okay. So automated. Great. So now I have automated facilities. Now I continue on this path, the biology path. Again, I have a choice between biospheres, which add a 2 million to the max of population in each planet, or hydroponic farms, which produce +2 food on every planet, even on lifeless ones. Okay, so these are, the problem with this is more expensive in maintenance cost, and I can do much more with the biospheres. But I'll show you the other side of it once we research the next phase. Okay, so I have my first leader. Do you remember the fleet leader we forgot about? So I had this one because this gives me an immediate bonus. And I'll put it on Chryslon. I have a lot of population on Chryslon, so you can see now. Okay, if I'll go here, you can see here. So leader bonus +4 only on this planet. And on each other planet, I think it's it's too low, so it gives me no. So this leader basically right now gives me 2 gold every turn because he takes 2 other to pay for him his salary. So it will increase in time, and I'll have the entire Chryslon star system filled with population. So it's not that bad. We'll get there. It's not the best leader, but repulsive, every leader is a good leader to a certain extent. So you can see everything matters, also your ability to attract the right leaders, okay? Leaders are important, but you can manage without them. There is charismatic, like humans can take charismatic, so you can change the leaders you can get early on, and also there are leaders that attract other leaders. They're called famous, and also they lessen the price that you have to pay in order to hire other leaders. So it's nice. Okay, we're continuing here. You can see the turn is this is a turn, and this means we've played 41 turns. So we're playing for about an hour now. Okay, 41 turns, and I'm explaining everything really slowly, relatively, so you can see how this is fast-paced. Okay, if I could play like in a faster pace, and this was already my 60 or 80 turn, I could really finish this game in 3 hours or 4, depends. And if you play against another player, there is a certain moment where he just surrenders, or you surrender, unfortunately, and then the game ends. Basically, you agree it ends with the victory of one of you. So because there's a certain point you lost. So basically, this is not a long game. And you can change the game by the size of the galaxy. I usually take huge. You can take a smaller one. By the way, Master of Orion 2 has a very small galaxy compared to Stellaris, for example. Okay, Stellaris, you can have huge galaxies, and everything moves so much slower. And also one of the biggest disadvantages I see in Stellaris in that sense is Stellaris has a very lousy combat. You can just watch your ships basically running around shooting each other. You can prepare to the combat ahead with building the right kind of ships, designing them very nicely, but in the end you can't do anything at the battle itself, which is really missing the point. Although Stellaris is a very loved game, in the end it's missing the very main point of like not having a tactical combat where you have agency inside the combat itself. We're very close. Another nice gimmick they did, okay, that when you're close to finishing the research of a certain item, you have some sort of randomness. You can have a 65% chance that instead of like finishing it on the right ETA, okay, you'll finish it slightly earlier. We'll see. Okay, we finished it. It's nice. We'll accelerate it. So biospheres. Biospheres is something you don't have to take right away, like build it right away, but we're doing that to get to soil enrichment. So in this category, for example, there are only 2 good choices. Death Spores is a biological weapon. It basically kills the population on a planet and leaves you the structures. The downside is that everybody hates biological weapons. So once you attack with a biological weapon, everybody likes you less. And every time you use it, everybody likes you less. And by liking you less, you're closer to opening a war with them than actually maintaining the peace for as long as you need it. Zoning Center basically increases the population production 100k each turn. So that gives you a huge leap in population growth. It's actually a very potent choice. Okay? But it's a good choice when you have like a very solid food production. It's good for leftover races like those who don't need food at all. It's a very good choice for them. But and some races also take it because they're constructed in a certain manner. I'll take the solar enrichment because I don't have many planets that can produce food at this point, and I need my main planet to use its its population not only for food. Okay. Let's see now. Okay. So I can see that Chryslon is filled. I can build the automated factory now. And I want to build biospheres as well. I want to build just hot automated factories everywhere. It's really, really important to have them. You can see someone on Tond just moved like that. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pay for that. Basically, I'm gonna pay for that bit, but I'll take it. Okay. Let's pass a few turns like that. I don't have any freighters. I need much more freighter, many more freighters. 5 at this point is just 1 unit of freighters, and the freighters is a very nice mechanism of making sure your food is a concrete limit, because if you don't have enough freighters, then you can have that one system that produces food, but you can't distribute it. On the second hand, freighters are almost invisible in terms of combat. You can't attack freighters directly. You can never do that. Okay? The only way your enemy can kill freighters, or actually block them from reaching and providing food for your star system, is blockading the star system with a fleet. Okay? So this is a very interesting limit. Also, if freighters are carrying population to move between planets, because they are the way to move between star systems, population between star systems, then you're like limited in that sense that if you reach a blockaded planet, the population dies. I don't think the freighter dies. So it's a very interesting mechanism that you have like fleets that are not a part of the combat itself. They are affected by blockaded planets, but they're not a part of the combat itself, cannot be harmed at all. In some games, freighters can be attacked. Okay, in galactic civilizations, you can attack freighters moving between planets, supplying food, and also in those games, you actually need to create those freighters and to move them around planets. There's also another game called Stars in Shadow that is an animal-looking game and a manga-looking game, more precise. And in that game, you can like move the freighters from being freighters in this sense, moving food and population. Actually, in the sense of trading gold in that game, you can trade gold with them, okay? And you can move them to moving troops and population, but then they are considered a part of the fleet and can be destroyed in combat. Another thing that I think that Master of Orion misses a bit, okay, that you can put your... Oh, I forgot about the leader, you can see? Oh, almost. Okay, I'll buy him. Okay, so you can have leaders on fleets, like on certain spaceships within the fleet, but they don't have special abilities. Like they can have bonuses to your fleet or that specific ship they're on, but they can't cast spells or change the battlefield in a very, very foundational way. Okay, so this is a limit I think Master of Orion misses on. It shouldn't be like that. I think that heroes can be more dominant in battle. They can still be situated in a ship, which puts them in danger of being killed, or they can be like in Heroes of Magic, just sitting outside the combat, casting spells, and only if you lose the entire army, then the hero is killed or captured or whatever, depends on the version. But either way, he can have more effect on the combat rather than just granting bonuses to the fleet. Okay, so we'll drag a few more turns like that. Maybe make a freighter fleet right away before we create the biospheres. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay, nice, nice, nice. We can buy, just a second, let's see. Just buy them. We'll just buy them. We'll wait for with these. This is actually buy time. And here we're good. Okay, so housing, we can't buy it yet. We'll just wait one more turn. We'll buy it. So on Tond, oops, took okay, so here in Tond I'm moving everything here. On Chryslon I'm moving them to the rich planet, which is the best planet. And on this planet I'm starting to build biospheres and building the planet basically. Okay, so this is the next planet that I'll develop. Okay, we're good, we're good. So the most important thing about those factories at the beginning is they increase by a fair amount the amount of colonists we produce. So you can see here the number has changed dramatically. This affects the game because I have more population in less turns. So this is the counter for the population. Again, this is a very nice screen. Basically, you can see the star map. You can see the stars color. This is the, I think, black holes. These are my stars. I haven't met another race so far, so that's what I get. I don't see other colors here. I can move population between stars, planets, and I can put them on different tasks. I can see the colors sorted by different ways, how much BC they're producing, how much industry is producing, what are they producing, the science they're producing, industry, food, the population, the largest planets first, which are usually the main planets where you produce the big ships from, and by name, which gets all the planets in the same star system closer, which is more relevant to the start because I don't have that many. Basically, like if we take a look at the turn, so a good rule of thumb is having at least half of the turn in population. That means you're kind of on track. Depends on the race. Because my race is tolerant and productive, I should have bit more, so between half of the population to the number of the turn in population, 41. So if we have 41 here at this point, it will be amazing, but we don't. We're still on the right range. By the way, if you have any questions, they were invited to chat with me here. I can answer you. You can be my first message. I have a promotion message here, so it doesn't count. Okay, so I would like to have a colony ship. See? Colony ship in 10 turns. That's pretty fast. That's pretty fast. And let's start producing more. I need some more. I'm a tolerant species, so I don't get penalty from pollution, which is a huge thing usually. So I just go towards producing stuff. I also have a problem with the freighter fleets again. Let's put one on food once we have the freighters. Okay. You can see the biospheres as I have increased my population max by 2, so now I can have 22 on my home planet. It's getting hot. AC. Okay. So, soil enrichment. Soil enrichment is very important. Once I have this, okay, then I just start with these technologies. Okay. Okay, soil enrichment first. Very important. Hmm. Let's see now. No other planet is fit for soil enrichment. Too bad. We'll wait for the soil enrichment. Now we have a huge surplus of food basically. So now we can just drop a few of the colonists back to research. See? Amazing. Now, I don't want to reach the exact maximum of a space, like a planet, because that will prevent them from producing colonists. You can see they're producing them very slowly, 43, because of not housing. And also the planet has a lot of population for some reason. Larger planets with like larger amount of population create more population slower. So it's not realistic, but it's a very good game mechanic in that sense because you need early population faster. hmm Now this is bad. This means we'll lose a lot of colonists on Ton. So now I need to move people on Ton to research, basically. Now let's see how it works. Plague. Do I have to have all the... This is the reference. This is basically all the documents here. No, this is not the right one. Cure plague. Done in that colony. This means I have to have like all the colonists here. Sorry for the... Okay, so I need to move... Okay, as many colonists here on research as possible. Bummer. Okay, so I'm really close to producing this colony ship. I think I'll buy it now. I have another one made very shortly. See, so that was a bad event, the plague. It happens, and it forces you to act differently. There are much worse, much worse events that can happen. For example, there can be a time-space anomaly that basically freezes your entire planet, or entire star system, and it can happen on your home system. And in early game, this is devastating for 10 turns, not being able to do anything there. So it really sucks. I moved them by mistake. Okay. Okay. And to the plague. So right now I want to do the neural scanner. Neural scanner moves me towards a better research facility, which produces much more research points and stuff like that. We'll create a star field which handles another kind of mechanic. This mechanic is a very interesting mechanic. You can see now that I start producing, like making sure I'm filling my planets here. So I'll make a freighter fleet again. Okay, so we have a colony ship here, another colony ship here. We can have this system, it's a nice system. We can't have this system, and we need to have Tau for additional stars. So basically I'm sending those one here and one here, expanding in both directions. I'm balancing the food, I'm balancing everything needs to be without penalty. Also the income, because I have gold deposits and I'm not suffering from it, but it could be a really big pain in the butt when you have like a shortage in gold. You need to tax. That brings us to another feature. As you can see, this game is just filled with features. So another feature here is tax. Okay, I can do like a certain percentage of tax, and what that means is it taxes. Ooh, first time chat from Kent Witchwatch. Thank you. Tax. Once I'm getting a larger tax, this increases the BC tremendously, but on a very high cost. Because if I'll go to my colonies, for example, okay, I'll see that I'm getting taxed 50%. I can do twice the production. This does not affect food and does not affect research, but it does affect the production globally, which means every planet across all my systems will be producing 50% less and enabling me to have more BC. So it's a different feature. It's a way to acquire BC really fast to build things in a certain place. So basically it's a good strategy if you want to produce something in a specific place really fast. It's moving production units from a system to a system metaphorically. But I don't need it. I'll just put it on 0 tax because I really need my producing planets just producing right now. Because it's not 100%, it's BC still. Okay, so I'm colonizing the systems. Another thing you need to take into consideration is not over colonizing. A very common mistake, okay, is to over colonize and build like a lot of colony ships. Now, some races will go fine with this, like feudal races that can build colony ships much faster, but a lot of races would get penalized by it really hard. So it's not a good strategy if you overdo it, like anything else in this game. Okay, so Ton, 5 out of 5, Biospheres, Chryslon. This is my production. You need to have 1/3 of your colonies like with one population and housing. This is the best practice. Okay, so basically I have just one of them because the others are developing, but I guess I'll have one more soon enough. Oh dear, our first race. Okay, so this is the diplomacy screen where you meet other races. They talk to you. You can I'll talk to him right away. Just finish all my turn arrangements. So this is a tundra, right? And a small ocean. Actually, that's a very good planet for. Oh, this is my. That was not my home planet. That's stunned. Okay. I'll move a few more here. Okay. I want to have like more research at this point. You can see I bumped my research pretty significantly. I just want to reach the part where I get the research facility. It's called planetary computer, supercomputer. So you can basically steamroll yourself in this game to a certain point. Let's see, scouts. It's an okay system, I guess. This is a very nice leader, by the way. Navigator means they can navigate through black holes and nebulas and stuff like that. Doesn't slow them down. Weaponry, all ships and fighters attack bonus +5, and Helmsman means they have better defense bonus. So basically, weaponry and Helmsman are together like a fighter bonus. I won't take him right away, but I need to remember him. Okay, so we're ending soon this session. We'll continue this specific game until I'll be able to show you the space combat, because that's the most important thing I want to show you. This will be like you can reach space combat in Master of Orion to if you have a wormhole which connects two nodes by moving from between them in one turn, which is amazing, by turn 80 something, but usually you start your early combat on turn 100 something. So basically we have quite a few turns to get there to the part where you're fighting. We'll get there on our next session. And then we'll see how combat and ship designs are in Master of Orion 2, which is the most important part in my humble opinion. We'll see a bit of space monsters and stuff like that. But that's enough for today. Thank you very much for watching me. I hope you watch me again next time. Bye bye.